Forest of the Lost Damned Souls, written by Tyler Williams and narrated by Tyler Williams.
It was on a chilly and echoey night during the Edo era of Japan. The moon is full, the neighborhoods are eerily quiet, and the forest seemed quieter than usual. Part of the reason it was so quiet in the neighborhoods was because many children and young adults were either fearing for their lives or in a specific location waiting to scare people. Unfortunately, there was a group of 4 female teens named Yoshino, Nobangana, Akechi, and Imagawa who had other ideas of fun for Halloween this year. These teens wanted to explore the forest in the neighborhood that everyone feared and come back out with a story to tell.
They all looked up simultaneously and saw nothing but dark and tall trees with sharp edges that looked like long arms. And the teens simultaneously felt a tense pressure on their back that forced them and pushed them deeper into the forest. The 4 of them fixed their postures and continued to march forward to keep their composure. They walked with fear and tense upright shoulders as they began to see a small orange light in the distance with ash particles in the sky. As the 4 teens approached the campfire, the teens all nervously and simultaneously said, "Hello?" and "Who's there?" There was no response as an echoey and chilly gust of wind rushed by. All the teens took a closer look at what was a campfire, and they saw 4 dark figures, and upon full inspection, they saw skeletons with samurai outfits on, and they had broken swords. The skeletons then spoke in Japanese and said, "Tell us 4 satisfying stories, and we'll let you leave the forest." All 4 teens started shouting in fear, "Hell no! Let's get out of here!" The teens then split up in twos and decided to get out of the forest to minimize the hassle of protecting each other all at once. They all ran in their directions like it was the last run of their lives, dodging all the tree branches and bushes they could in their way. In the end, they saw an exit and ran towards it, only to end up at the campfire once more, and meeting face to face with each other. The manga said, "No way this is happening, try again." This time, as they were running, they ended up at a swampy lake with a broken and sunken ship, and they saw dead souls roaming on the ship. The teens looked at each other and all understood what had to be done. They had to go back and tell the stories of the lost souls. They walked back confidently, accepting their fate, and said to the skeletons, "We'll tell you 4 stories." That skeleton said, "If you tell us a satisfying story, one of the 4 candles will go out."
Nobangana then stood up and said, "I'll go first." She took up with a confident and menacing look, but in the back of her mind, she knew she was no good at telling stories. She then began to speak in front of the candles. A long time ago, there was... She could not make up a story, no matter how hard she tried, and in the end, none of the candles went out. The skeleton said, "That was not a satisfying story. Your soul now belongs to the forest."
The other 3 girls, Yoshino, Akechi, and Imagawa, were terrified and puzzled because not all of them were great at storytelling. Imagawa stood up and nervously said, I can't do this. It's over for me. I give up." The skeletons then said, "That was not a satisfying story. Your soul now belongs to the forest." Akechi and Yoshino were all that were left. They began to break down mentally and started to sweat and panic when Yoshino said, "Wait, let us calm down. I have a plan." Yoshino looked and hesitated before finally saying to them, "I will wager Akechi and I's soul for a single good story that will bring back all of my friends' souls and a safe exit out of the forest. If my story is not satisfying, you can have all our souls for eternity." Akechi screamed, "Don't be rash. We're talking about our souls here." "Do not worry. You will be fine," said Yoshino. Yoshino stood up with Akechi as confident as possible, even going as far as smirking. Yoshino began to speak. "Once upon a time, there were 4 skeletons around a campfire, whose souls were trapped, and they met 4 teenagers in which they trapped here, unless they told satisfying stories." As the teens were shivering in fear, Yoshino became terribly upset and threatened to destroy their hard, empty skeletons, along with her last friend who still had a little bit of spirit left. By the time Yoshino was done threatening, both the girls took a good look at the skeletons and noticed them shivering as if they were scared and terrified of the threats. The skeletons dropped onto their hands and knees and said in a raspy voice, "We are very sorry for your troubles, but return your friend's soul at once." Yoshino looked up in shock, but kept that overconfident look in her face and quietly said, "Akechi, I told you we could do it." When suddenly their friend's souls returned to their bodies, and they are now lively and awake.
The teens that were previously dead were all frantically thinking, shouting, "I am alive?" Yoshino shouted, "No time to explain. Run out of the forest as fast as you can." All the teens are running at top speed,
dodging all the bushes and thorns in their way without ever looking back and looking only for the light ahead. Without a moment to spare in the teens' minds, they were out of the forest, all coming out at the same time. But something was wrong. Yoshino, Akechi, Nobunga were all side by side together. But Imagama was not there. Instead, her body was replaced with one of the skeletons that they have desperately been trying to escape. This has been Forest of the Lost Damn Souls, written by Tyler Williams, narrated by Tyler Williams, and copyrighted by Tyler Williams Productions.